Alrighty, hey everyone. So I wish it was a better day today than what we had. It turned out in the morning it was going to be a fantastic day for us, but man, Grandpa Trump had other plans for us, it looks like. So he posted a tweet, right? And then the markets took a nosedive into the oblivion there. We were up nicely. I was up, like $150,000 in the morning on things overall, my overall portfolios. And then by the end of the day, I was down 350,000. So go figure, right? But it's one of those things where I think it's overreacted. I think the market just overreacted basically on the news there. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about also Bitfarms. They came out with some good news. They actually, I think, ended up in the green towards the end of the day still. I think they were like only ones, maybe, I think. And then everybody else obviously took a nosedive. Miners didn't do too bad, though, during the day. They are still down a little bit in the after hours right now. We'll take a look at that as well. And that's all we got. So I'll give you guys my thoughts as we progress through all this stuff that happened here today on the markets here. Bitcoin went down to, well, to where it shouldn't have gone down to, but nonetheless, let's get into it here. Not financial advice for Bitcoin only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what happened today with Bitcoin and the miners and everything else in the markets. No, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go here. This is where I wanted to go, not Q&A. We're not ready for Q&A yet. Okay, so where do we begin here? Bitcoin today had a huge wig downwards today. It got to a low of exactly $107,000. We closed at $112,180. We were down $8,734 on Bitcoin, down 7.18%. If we look at maybe like the 1 hour chart, right, we can see here Trump's tweet came out right around 9 o'clock around there. And then, I mean, we're just red after red after red. I mean, the RSI on the 1 hour chart, we got down to 9.5. People were just freaking out, panicking, selling everything and their children probably on this news. I think it was way overreacted to it. At first, he came out and said that he's gotten letters from other countries about China's basically meddling with rare earths and putting restrictions on it. And then, so he said he's going to, raise tariffs on China, and he sees no point in meeting with the president of China, Xi Jinping. There, I think is his name there. But so that sent obviously the markets into a oh gosh, I don't want to curse here, but into a frenzy. And we obviously were witness to that. We saw what was happening here. Things were going down. The miners were still trying to stay in the green here throughout the day. We'll take a look at those as well on the daily here, but overall the markets, Dow Jones was down 1.9, the NASDAQ was down also 3.5, S&P was down 2.71, Russell was down 2.9, was 3% there. Ethereum took a big hit as well today. It was down on quite a bit. It was down 12.23%. BNB coin was down huge as well. Everything was tanking today. So today was not a good day, but I do think today was a buying opportunity, though, with all this FUD and everything else. If we look at the miners here really quick, though, right, Bitfarms, along with CORZ, were the only two that were actually still in the green here. Bitfarms got to a new high of $5.10. They came out with a great report today that they got more of the loan through McGuire to start the process of building out their Pennsylvania site there. We'll talk about that here in a second. So that one was up nicely, was up like at 17% on the day in the morning. And then we lost a lot of the gains there on not only them, but on everybody else here. BitTier was down 13.31% here. Kango was down 7.11%. Cypher was down 5.67%. Cleanspark was down only 4.03%, right? All of these guys were pumping in the morning hours, and then, yeah, we lost it. CORZ finished out in the green here, 2.66%. Hive was down 5.03%. Hut 8 was down 6%. IREN was down 6.39%. Mara was down 7.67%. Riot was down 5.7%. Wolf was down 0.59%, just a little bit there. And then all of the pretty much Bitcoin holders, treasury companies there were all down, with the exception of Phoenix, for some reason, was up 8.52% here on the day. Not sure why, but it was up. Small miners took a beating as well, except for DigiPower. DigiPower ended up being in the green for 15.53% up on the day. They got to $3.27. Everybody else was down quite a bit there as well. Ethereum, the Bitcoin ETFs, the Bitcoin miner ETFs, were in the red also, right? BitQ was down 4, BKCH was down 4, DApp was down 6, WGMI was down 3.8. The Ethereum holding companies were all down a lot. BMNR was down 11%. BitDigital was down 6.47. BTCS was down 12.7. Game was down 7.89. SBET was down 9.65 there. Other companies here that we track as well. American Bitcoin was down 9.16%. Open was down 7%. Wi-Fi was down 2.1% after being up much higher to 38.66 there. Oracle was down 1.35%, just a little bit. Nibius was down 2.31. Soluna was down 6.23. Bakkt was down 13.79. And Fermi was actually up 8.63%. So go figure, it was a weird day nonetheless here. Okay, miners in the after hours right now. BitDeer's up a little bit here, 0.11% here. Bitfarms right now is down just a little bit, 0.24%, so that's not too bad. Cypher is down another 1.3%. Cleanspark is down 3.1% on top of what they lost already today. CORZ is down actually 1.79. Hive Digital is down 0.15%. Hut 8 is down 1.31%. IREN is down another 1%, roughly 0.97% there. Mara is down 1.07. Riot is down 3.33%. TeraWolf is down just a little bit, 0.45%, and Soluna is down another 7.47% there. Okay, Bitcoin for so far for the month of October, doesn't look like October anymore, right? We're down 0.9% on the month here in Bitcoin right now, and that's why I'm saying we are, the market just way overreacted today to the news here, and it's amazing how one person can have such an impact on the markets here. And I think this was more for manipulation than anything else. That's just my take on it. Could be wrong. I think it's more for manipulation than anything else. Markets have been going up nicely here, the last couple of weeks, couple of months even. We needed a healthy pullback, and maybe some of his friends there needed a good buying opportunity, or maybe wanted to short the markets here. We got something that looks like worked out really well for somebody that was shorting the market there. And we'll talk about that in a second. So that's not looking too great right now for us, but I think we'll bounce from here going forward. We may still have a pretty rough weekend, and we'll see how early next week plays out. But I think eventually in time we will go back up here. Bitcoin ETF inflows. Yesterday we had positive 187 million. BlackRock bought in 255 million there. We don't know what's going to happen today. Obviously, probably going to be a pretty big red day for BlackRock, I'm guessing. So far we have 78 million outflows as it is right now. All right. We will get to Bitfarms here towards the end of it all, so we can cover it in detail here. But here's what we had to happen today, right? Trump, U.S. will impose 100% tariff on China starting November 1st. Someone is not happy with this Friday. This is from Bach on X there. Yeah, for whatever reason, he's not happy. And, if they wanted to work, or if they weren't happy with China, they could have just went directly to China and said, hey, knock this stuff off, or we're going to go, with 100% tariffs on you. Could have done it in private. But why did they do it in public? Well, to bring down the markets. That's the main thing of this all. Is markets were up too high. Trump family's got to make their money somehow, so this is the way that they're going to do it. They're going to, liquidate a bunch of people, and they're going to profit in the end on it, right? And then later on, Trump on China trade, where the meeting with Xi isn't canceled. We have time till November 1st to settle, right? So now he's kind of walking back the little note that he put out that there was no point in meeting with Xi, but now there is a point, I guess. So they can settle it, and things will be fine going forward here. And like I said, this is just an overreaction here. And then we have this. This is from Marty Party. The insider who opened trades 30 minutes before Trump's tariffs announcement closed the trades for 104 million plus 88 million equals 192 million profits. These accounts were open today. So somebody, well, we're speculating here, somebody might have known something that was going to be coming down the pipe, and they greatly profited from that. So congrats to them, I guess, right? On that one, here we got this. I have conflicting reports on this. I have one showing that it's $250 billion wiped out from the crypto market cap today. And I have another one showing 9.4 billion. So I'm not sure which is which on that one. If you guys know for sure which is which, let me know. But obviously a huge liquidation event today for the coins there. Also, the U.S. stock market, 1.65 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market today. That is huge, right? A lot of pain out there today, a lot of selling going on. That's why I think it's overreacted right now. Like I posted to our Discord server today, I said this is a buying opportunity in my opinion. We've seen this also happen last time with the Trump tariffs, everything else, right? And then where do we end up from there? Much, much higher from where we are right, or where we were. And then we have this, Anthony Napolitano says, I haven't seen this crypto market makers flush the order books like this since 2020. Very impressive stuff. The market now has the ability to run order books are completely clean. That's his take on it. I don't look into the order books and things like that, but you know, that does look like a clean flush there, and we might be rallying here going forward here. Tom Lee also thinks the same thing, right? So Tom Lee on CNBC called today's crash a buying opportunity and said stocks could be higher 2 months-ish from now. I think it might be even faster than that. We get word from Trump next week that China's backing down or something like that. They're not going to be putting controls on export, on rare earth materials, on other countries and things like that, and we're off to the races again. So we're part of this, unfortunately. We just have to weather the storm right now. Lastly here also, where was this one? Oh yeah, COVID crash, 1.2 billion in liquidations. FTX, 1.6 billion in liquidations. Today, 19.16 billion in liquidations. This was obviously in crypto here. This is the biggest liquidation event in history of crypto and almost 20x bigger than the COVID crash of March 2020. And yet we handled it pretty well here, I think. Things went way south, way more than they probably needed to, but people were leveraged, people were long, and they got wrecked because of it. So don't go into leverage. Don't do that. Buy and hold, buy on the dips, and you'll be fine in the long run, I believe. So that's it. That's basically what happened here. It was, in my opinion, just market liquidation, market manipulation at its best from the highest person in the country here. And we are just a part of this. We do not control this. There are people in higher ups that do control what goes on here. And they pull the strings on us a little bit more than we would probably like to have done here, right? But it is what it is. We'll get through this, and we'll be much better off on the other end of it. So prepare for next week. Next week might be a little bit more volatile, and we'll see when we actually bottom out here. But I think based on what I saw today and the amount of liquidations, I think we're probably at the liquidation point. If not, we're very close to it, and we will bounce from there going forward here. Just market was up. Bitcoin was up. I mean, miners were up huge, as you guys all know. A little bit of a pullback is definitely healthy. Saw the RSIs coming down on a lot of these guys to much healthier levels. That gives us more room to run in the next 2 months or so. That's just my take on it. Lastly, here we got Bitfarms here reporting. This was great news. Obviously, the stock ran up on this news, and it still stayed in the green. So that was kind of nice to see that while everything else was going in the red. But this is a good development here for them. So Bitfarms converts Macquarie debt facility to 300 million project financing and draws additional 50 million to accelerate HPCI development at Panther Creek campus. This is in Pennsylvania there. So here's the quote and information. Bitfarms has converted its previously announced private debt facility for up to 300 million from Macquarie Group's commodities and global markets business to an up to 300 million project-specific financing facility for the development of its data center campus in Panther Creek, Pennsylvania. Bitfarms will draw an additional 15 million from the converted facility, subject to customary closing conditions, for a total of 100 million, drawn through closing in order to accelerate long lead equipment purchases and advance HPCI development at its data center campus in Panther Creek, Pennsylvania. So this is obviously why the stock was pumping there. We've been waiting for some kind of news on that, and that's awesome to see that. We don't know exactly when it's going to be done. We do know that the work is going to be starting here in Q4 here in this year. Sio Ben Gagnon, the farmer. We're going to start calling him the farmer because he keeps talking about being a farmer. Or his name, I think, Gagnon means farmer, I think. So he's definitely farming something up for us. Stated, I'm excited to announce the conversion of our debt facility to the project level, the acceleration of equipment orders, and development of our Panther Creek HPCI campus. We intend to use this drawdown of additional $50 million to fund civil works and substation construction in Panther Creek, which are on track to begin in Q4 2025. Converting the facility to the project level enables us to draw down on the full facility, accelerating our construction timeline, providing increased flexibility, and positioning us to capitalize on the substantial demand for HPCI infrastructure in Pennsylvania. So that is awesome, right? The stock is obviously going to run up some more on this, I believe, when, excuse me, once the dust settles with the Trump tariffs fears again. And we're going to definitely go up much higher from where we are, probably double from here even, where we are. I think that's definitely doable in time. Now, we just got to be patient. Buy the dips if you do get them. We are not at anywhere near the peak right now on all of this HPCI business and data center business and all that stuff. It is completely different. You might be hearing out there that we are comparing this HPCI bubble, supposed bubble, to the dot-com boom. Dot-com boom was completely different at that time. If you actually do some research on it, you will find out many, many reasons why it's completely different. A couple of reasons that I have seen and read are Number one, back then, the internet was still in its infancy. If you remember, we had dial-up for the most part. A lot of businesses, were getting way overvalued based on just having a .com in their name. It was just hype on all those aspects as far as what it could be. But they didn't generate any revenues, right? They were always pretty much losing money while they were building out, trying to do their things, and that's what's caused the bubble here. This time around with the AI, we're nowhere near a bubble yet. We have companies that are worth trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, that are generating revenue, that are then funneling that revenue into AI businesses, right? So it's completely different. We don't have that overexuberance in startups yet that are getting huge valuations with no revenue. We saw OpenAI, get to several hundred million users, the fastest of any company here, all right? They're generating revenue. They're, doing all the things. So we are nowhere near a bubble yet in AI. And I think this is going to continue for much longer because the demand is outrageous out there for it. The prospects for AI, if you get to general AI or if you get to super intelligent AI, it is, right now it's a race with all these companies to try to get to that point. So nowhere near a bubble yet, in my opinion. We still have a long, long ways to go. All right, but that's just my take on it really quick. Let's get into Q&A here, call it a day. It's Friday. We should be out celebrating, but instead we're soaking in our tears right now, watching our portfolios go down more than we probably wanted it to go down. But let's get into it here. Okay, let's go Q&A. And as always, questions. If you guys preface the question with a question mark, I'm going to scroll my way up and work my way down as always, and we'll go from there. All right. Ryan says, crazy effing day. Yeah, for sure it was. All right. DGHI BTC 10% drop, bounce 2.25, and Tuesday should dip more and rebound on earnings. Okay. Let's see here. All right. DGHI says BTC 250. What is that? Something is acting up on my iPad. What was I going to say? BTC 250,000 by the end of December there, looks like. Fire free tax, good recovery so far. Yeah, bounced back up nicely here. Cause the U.S. president, biggest market manipulator in power. Gotta love it. Yeah. Daniel, thanks so much for the super chat there. Is Cleanspark still on the $25 target? Is the run over for the miners? No, the run is not over, I don't think, right? I think within a couple of days, maybe a week or so, Trump is going to come back saying that they came to a mutual agreement with China and things are off and we're still good there. So I don't see that being an issue for us. It's gonna be an issue in the interim, but long term I don't think it's gonna be an issue. All right, DGF says I have no capital to buy. Me neither. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have bought the dip here a little bit today. Carl, I also finished down 350 from the high of the morning. My concern is BTC breaking below previous support. Not good. Alts got destroyed. Alts, yeah. We'll see where we bounce back, right? I mean, it's not a huge dip today. I mean, Bitcoin was down, a couple percentage points, not that major. If we continue to go down and then we get down, I mean, we have seen drawdowns in Bitcoin this past year and a half where they went down 30%, right? It's not out of the ordinary. That could still happen here. I don't think it will, but I think we're going to be going up higher here. We got rate cuts coming up also this month, right? That should help things out. All right, let's see. Anti-question. Hi, Sebastian. Do you believe in market rebound? Time to add more to our spot holdings. Mara looks super undervalued to me. I think we will rebound. Might not be like Monday, but it will be within the next, I would say, probably a week or so that we would probably rebound. Paul says this is why I take profits, and that's awesome. Yeah, right? No shame in taking profits. Profits are profits. You got the cash. Brody, so much for October so far. I mean, we're almost halfway through it. We'll see where we end up the rest of the month here. Let's see, Paul says, bought the crash, not the dip today, yet was brutal. Yeah, it was brutal. Let's see, I knew IREN was getting too overheated yesterday. I said I'd buy the dip for IREN. Yeah, you did. Gary, question, of all the miners you cover, could you rank 1 to 5 the miners you are least likely to purchase? I feel I need to see the eternal optimist being negative on a day like this. 1 to 5 ranking, of which miners would I not buy? It'd be the small ones, right? Argo, Annie, there's 3 there. Who else? Mawson. Some of the smaller ones. Those are the ones I would probably not buy here. The other ones, Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, Cypher, Riot, Hut 8, Hive, Bitfarms, all those guys I'd be buying right now. All right. And says Trump created a dip for us to buy. Yes, he did. And he probably enriched a lot of his friends there too. Let's see. DGHI says dip, 4 whales to buy. Buying heavy, Trump's trust. Okay. Gary Powell, do you think Reggie will be correct with this $24 price target for IREN? I do not. No. Let's see. BTC adoption reaches full adoption soon as 24/7 NASDAQ. Yeah, I would agree there. Paul Brown. Trump, his son is in crypto and his cronies getting super wealthy from all this manipulation. This is criminal. Well, if you can prove that, maybe not, right? We don't know. It's speculation. Stephen says, I believe they are trying to get rid of a lot of alts. I transferred all my Doge to BTC. Miners will come back with vengeance after this correction. Buy the dip. I agree with you there. And I find Fridays are usually down, especially with a long weekend. A lot of people sell. I don't have any cash to buy. Things will be up on Tuesday. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see them be back up on Tuesday. I think we will. I think we might have a red Monday. Then we'll have a little bounce on Tuesday probably. Neville says, if you miss the boat, keep crying. You still won't see those low prices you dream of. Yeah, I don't think we're going too much further down. Sandeep, I bought the dip, the true dip, mother of all dips, dippity, dip. No more dips, please. Yeah, definitely would like to see no more dips like this one today. Gary says, U.S. market is open on Columbus Day on Monday. Canadian market is closed for Canadian Thanksgiving on Monday. Okay. John's got a question here. Several weeks ago, you gave us price predictions for the miners if they would get HPC contracts. Can you revisit this? Thanks. A couple of weeks ago, did I do that? If they got contracts? This was probably a couple of months ago, I think. Let me see if I got that data still, and maybe we'll do that this Sunday. Okay. Let's see, Mr. X, if this pullback is minor, it was much needed. Miners have been running too hard and need to consolidate a little. I would agree with you there as well. I think a little consolidation, a little pullback is healthy. D-Roy says, anyone have a Band-Aid? Hopefully you didn't hurt yourself. John, Wall Street is open on Monday. Bond market is closed. Okay. Gary Pallet, IREN, gonna pull back more or run, you think? Gary, hopefully you can answer that one. D-Roy's bad news always happens on Friday. And not always. Sometimes it's in the middle of the week. It just all depends on when Trump posts a tweet or a truth post. Mr. X, how worried should we be about Trump's new tariffs again? I'm not too worried. Could we dip some more? Yes, we could definitely dip some more. But in the long run, he's going to want this thing to run as well, the market to run, because that makes him look good with his buddies and possible voters as well, right? We want the economy to do well. We want the markets to do well, because if they're not doing well, then the Republican Party's not getting reelected probably come midterm, so they needed to do well. All right. Let's see. Does today's pullback prove Rex Finance was correct about AI being a scam and IREN is going to go bankrupt? Well, that would be the same thing for Cleanspark then, wouldn't it? But he's in Cleanspark right now, so I don't believe that's the case here. Mr. X, Rex Finance is now working for Cleanspark, his favorite stock. Yes, he is. Cause how are people down so much? Leverage? Yeah, a lot of it is leverage. Edward, Bitfarms price prediction $20 is realistic, low market cap compared to IREN or Cypher. They also have less megawatts going forward, at least right now. They do have the potential to increase those megawatts. So, I mean, $20 for them would be a $10 billion market valuation, roughly. I don't know if we'll get there within the next 6 months to 12 months, but I think somewhere between right now, at least, we should be somewhere between $6 and $10, and then we'll see how they do going forward from there, and we could possibly raise them up even more on that. But I would love to see them get to 20. That'd be great. Right, Gary, my guess, IREN to dip to 55 max, 50 if more bad news, but buy dips if you have money as it's going up longer term. I would agree with you there. Bounce back to 118,000. Are we bouncing back right now? We're at 112. We should. I don't know if we're going to bounce over the weekend here. I don't really want it to bounce on the weekend. I don't want to have any gaps on the CME futures there. I would rather just have it be flat over the weekend. We'll see. And question, do you pay fees when you buy and sell? I have to pay $9.99 per trade to my bank, so I have to make sure I buy and sell a big amount. I don't. I use Webull. I do pay a little bit. It's like 50 cents or something like that when I sell a position, I think. Nothing major there. So maybe look into a different brokerage account. All right. Shinshi, today I took it as an opportunity to switch into IREN. Now over 80% of my portfolio. Very nice. IREN for me is like 48% of my portfolio. Paul says it's crazy how a pullback brings all the doubters back into the chat again. Where's Chris? Chris will be in here shortly, I think. Yeah. DeFi, well. That was a ride. Did you catch IREN at 52 all-time high? That was such a gift. Did it go back down to 52 today? Was it that low? I watched it in the morning, see what was going on there, and then I give up. Like, we'll see where we end up here by the end of the day. IREN, what did it get to? Got 59. I did get to 57 today, I think. Was the low on it? Right? It got to, where did it go? Low was 58. So not quite to 52. All right. Talked about that one. SH, read between the lines, specifically the first line in Bitfarms press release expected by year-end 2026. This is a long-term hold. We will have other deals announced by then and more deals after that. Yeah, that would be great. See, Paul Brown says, Bitfund didn't care too much about the crash today. No, it did not. It held up really well. What else we got here? Okay, DeFi, one of my large cap alts was down 80% in 5 minutes and recovered only down 28% after I caught the wick for that alt at 1.5 for 3x leverage, and the crypto is trading at 4. Nice. All right, HB, Trump won't want a market tanking going into Q4 earnings on his watch. Also midterms next year, so things should not be long-lived. I would agree with you there. That's kind of my thought process as well. All right. Let's see, Sour. ABTC opened trading at a massive overvaluation, banged investors with an immediate 2.1 billion offering, then has receded 33% already since they started trading. How is that not a scam? Well, I mean, if people got into it, right, people better know what they're getting into. That's why I didn't get into it. I'm like, I need to see what their valuation is and everything else based on what they have. And at that point, I saw that they were way overvalued, so I didn't get into it. You got to know what you're getting into. It's kind of like those, people that buy lottery tickets all the time. You got to know what you're getting into. What are the odds of you making it on that? You're better off putting your money into the markets. At least that's what I think. All right. Let's see here. Annie, I'm in Canada. Look into Momo. They charge $1.49 for Canadian stocks and $1.99 for U.S. stocks. More importantly, banks charge 1.5 to 2.5 conversion fees on exchange from Canada to U.S. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You guys don't have like Robinhood in Canada or Webull or some of the other ones that are pretty well known, or one of those. Maybe you don't. I'm not sure. Let's see. HB says Bitfarms at 5 was awesome to see. It was a nice. I mean, the stock has been doing really well here. It's a nice little rebound for them. It's a great rebound actually for them, and it's great for Ben, the CEO there, to finally get some. That's what I'm looking for. Not reward, but some attention to him and his stock there in the company there. I think they're moving in the right direction, being more so in the United States there. So I wish them all the best, and I think they will do very well. All right, JD, have you thought of having an indicator in the Patreon sheets that give an price estimate of miners pivoting to HBCI and factoring that into the valuation rating? I do include it for some of the miners that we do know are getting revenue currently or will be getting revenue in the future. So I have that for IREN, Cypher now, Hive as well. And I think those are the only ones that I have where they at least reported some sort of revenues for them. Even I think CORZ Scientific as well. So it's already in there a little bit. All right. Cleanspark looked unstoppable, but looks like it will take a breather for a bit. Buying opportunity, I believe so. A lot of these guys obviously are taking a breather here today. May have a little bit more breather next week. We'll see. Gary, wealth simple, free trades, but only Canadian stocks. And okay, DeFi, Trump needs market to do well. He will pump it like always, and then dump it later. We've seen it. That's the second time we've seen it happen. So yes, at Perfect Day, seeing bits at 3:20 after hours was crazy. Yep. DeFi COVID crash, 1.2 billion liquidations. FTX crash, 1.6 billion liquidations. Yeah, 9.5. Yeah, today was a big liquidation day. I I can never pronounce your name. I do apologize. I know you told me how to pronounce it, but I'm sorry, I can't remember. Thank you for the super chat there. This is why you take profits on way up. I'm much less likely to panic sell my remaining positions during pullbacks like this. Yeah, right. I have time also, so I'm not too worried about it. This was, a little bit of a correction, panic sell, not a big deal, right? If the market, everything else goes south here for a little while, okay, it's going to take a little bit longer for me to become a multimillionaire. All right, not a big deal. I can wait. I don't need the cash right now, so I can wait. All right, great. Question of all the miners you cover, could you rank? I already did that already. Talked about that one. DGF, Cleanspark warrants for the win, in my opinion. Mara needs to rock it up. Mara's been lagging like crazy. And Gary, I'm trading on RRSP, self-directed account. I was wondering how people were buying just 100 stocks. It would be too expensive for me. Yeah, it depends on the price, obviously, of the stock there. Right, at $9.99, it does get expensive. If you could get it at a much lower price, that would be much more beneficial, especially if you're trading it a lot, right, in and out. But if you're buying and holding, then that may not be too bad, but still takes some of your profits away at that point. All right, sorry, Melon. The firm I worked for is building out IREN sites. We have 301K forecasted hours building out Horizon 2. October through March, we have above age hours forecast. Big things are coming. Oh, interesting. Okay, I got a little insight there. Thank you, Sauer, for that. All right, Paul Brown, there's probably lots of newborn millionaires after this drop today. Why buying this dip? Why buy this dip? Today, why buying this dip? So you can buy more, obviously, if you believe things are going to go up. And if you haven't been able to get into these guys here recently, because you're new to the space, right, you kind of want to get in on buying the dips a little bit. All right. Let's see, more Tim. Apparently, China tightened rare earths exports in April and then relaxed them in June, only to tighten again this week. This seems to be negotiating tactics. Trumps will have to negotiate. Yeah, it's going to get worked out. S says this bull ain't over. I believe so as well. Shinshi question, Seb, you looked wrong. IREN got to 51 today. Gary and Sour Melon in the IREN dip over since it got to 51. Did it get to 51? Let me take a look at the chart here. So let's take a look at the chart here on IREN. IREN, I have it here on the daily, right? We're looking at it. Let's see, hot 8, refresh it. IREN got to a low of $58.02. It says it right there, right over here. Maybe it was on the Canadian stock exchange. Well, no, I mean, it should have been across the board there. Maybe did it get there after hours? Maybe after hours it got into it. If we look at IREN here, I'm not going to be able to see it probably, but let's see here on this one. It was down a little bit after hours here. Oh, yeah, after hours. Okay, so after hours trading, you got down to $52, it looks like, on that one. So it was after hours trading, but not during the day. After hours, you got down to it. Okay, so yeah. All right, that's data corrected. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's go back here. Okay, talked about that one. SH, the huge volume in Bitfarms and today's 226 million share traded is a big sign that institutional investors are buying before they move it higher to the promised land. Yeah, I would agree with you there as well. Let's see, what else we got here? DeFi. IREN dropped to 50 after hours and then recovered. This was down 50%. Oh, yeah, after hours was down. Yeah, I think next push and then blow off top and then it's over. Completely for like the market and everything else. I hope that's not the case. NT, see, if you were me, should I buy more Mara or Cleanspark in this dip, considering both are now below my cost basis? I already have much of Bitfarms and IREN. Okay. I think, well, since they're below your cost average, I would say I honestly like Cleanspark more than I like Mara right now. I think Cleanspark might run faster here, but I could be wrong. But that's your decision as far as which one you want to get into. All right. Capper says, I just want Cleanspark to 28 or more. Yeah, so do I. I think everybody else does too. Leo, anyone on leverage here get wiped out? I didn't have leverage. I know some of you guys do options and things like that. So some of you guys might be hurting there. Cleanspark is going back to 10. I don't think so. Let's see. Paul says, like Buffett says, buy when everyone is fearful. I agree there 100% as well. All right. Okay, Daryl says Taco Tuesday coming next week. So Trump always chickens out, and we're going to be going back up. We'll see if that's the case. Sadie, thank you so much for the likes. JD, oh, hell yeah. Love your sheets. Bragged about them to my two friends years, and they called me a bozo. Now they're the bozos with IREN. Okay, awesome. That's awesome to hear. All right, DeFi. Some coins took insane hits. Atom went down 4 to a penny. Wow. AVAX dropped from 2 billion to $8 to $8, 71% drop. Yeah, some of the coins definitely dropped here. Bob says after hours, IREN reached $52. Yeah, I just saw it after hours. Cuban I can't even pronounce it. Cuban Indian 89. Quest Trade has 0 commissions here in Canada. I trade, okay, in my TFSA account. There, okay, there you go. All right. Andrew, rumors on X say China sold all its Bitcoin and could dump U.S. stocks next. Fits the narrative with tariffs and the U.S. eyeing crypto-backed debt. No real sources confirmed. Yeah, I don't know how much truth there is to that one. All right, Paul, I meant while buying this did dip, not why. It's the dang autocorrect. Okay. While buying this dip. Yeah, while buying the dip was going further for you down. All right, let's see. See, this says COVID crash was a legit crash. It was, yeah. Okay. What else we got here? Sarah says we're working on 19 separate projects for IREN. I'll dive into all the info I can get and bring it back here. Awesome. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, whatever you can share. That's. I don't think that would be insider knowledge. I don't think. Because your company's working for it. I don't know what your guys' rules are on that. So I don't want you getting in trouble. But that would be awesome. Let's see. All right. DeFly, this is a market reset, which was much needed now. We take off next week. I think the reset was also needed there as well. Dan says IREN is the GOAT. It is. It will continue to be, I think, for a bit longer there. Mortem, several charts monkeys believe the liquidation helped the current cycle in terms of length and cycle high. Agree or disagree? I can agree with that, actually. I think this was a good liquidation. Got things reset a little bit, and it can, make us go up higher and possibly longer as well. So I am of the same opinion there. Michael says Trump Media and Technology Group has accumulated approximately $2 billion in Bitcoin and related assets, representing about 2/3 of its total liquid assets. Okay, so were they buying today some more then? They should have been if they are buying up Bitcoin there. DeFi says 20 billion liquidated, but where did the 20 billion go? Oh, yeah. Michael, isn't Donald J. Trump should be trading between 409 and 409 to 50? That I don't know. I'm not in that one. Rob, do you think Hive will bounce back next Monday? I believe so. I think everything will. I'm not saying Monday. Monday will be probably still volatile. Somewhere later on in the week, I think we will bounce though. Let's see. Ed says, I personally think this was intentional and likely planned at least a month ago. Let's connect the dots. You might not be wrong there. Leo, doesn't the new money have to come into the markets to push it up higher and into crypto as well? Well, people are selling it. There's $1.6 trillion in liquidations here. So things were sold off. People made money. People lost money. But people also took money out, right? So there's money to go back into it. It's just people are fearful now. They're trying to figure out when to get back into it. Ed says, let me see here, where to go. Number one, use influencers to drive buying, people like Jim Cramer, Trump's son, Michael Saylor, etc. 2, let the price rise to trigger FOMO among investors. Okay. 3, ensure Jerome Powell stays silent on monetary policy. 4, begin selling during high volume, causing the price to gradually climb. 5, Trump drops a hint about raising tariffs. 6, then Trump disrupts the market by officially announcing a tariff before the weekend. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think it's some manipulation going on there. Because if you're trying to deal with China, why not just go directly to them, go to China and go, hey, knock this stuff off. Let's figure this stuff out instead of going publicly. I'm going to raise tariffs 100%, whatever it is on it. What's the end result going to be of that? Market's going to be crashing, right? So if you didn't want the market to crash, you wouldn't have said it. You want the market to crash, you're going to say it. That's just my take on it. Okay. So we'll see how we do over the weekend. I've covered all your guys' questions here. Looks like right now I got a couple more coming in here really quick. We'll get through those. Leo says, Hope Kramer says market collapsing and crypto too next week. That would be bullish and the signal to buy or have Trump say buy. Yeah, now would be a great time to be buying. Yeah, something like that. Michael says the Dow and the Nasdaq trading down 300 or more points each in after hours right now. Yeah, so it's going to be, I mean, we might get a bounce on Monday then if we're down this much in after hours already. All right. More Tim, do you think crap coin season is canceled since so many of them got roasted today? That I don't know. But I've gotten out of those coins for the most part. I still have a couple that I'm trying to get rid of once they go back to my average prices that I got into them. And then I'm out. I'm done with those things. The only things I'll hold on to is maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's it. Everything else I'm moving away from on that one. So we'll see. All right. That's it. We'll call it Friday night here. We've been going on almost 45 minutes or so. We'll see where things end up over the weekend here as well. And we'll cover it on Sunday probably. And then we'll get into swing of things again on Monday. All right. So unfortunately, we had a bad day today. I wish we could have ended up on a green day, but it was a red day nonetheless. We do get those from time to time. And I think, obviously everybody's going to be down on the weekend here, being down quite a bit. But this is part of the process, unfortunately. There's going to be many, many green days, and there's going to be always a red day or two to come. So be patient out there. Have high convictions in the things you own. Know what you own as well. Be vigilant as always. But there's always money out there to be made. Okay. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys Sunday. All right. Until then.